Hello, it's system review time, and what the hell have I got here? Could you call it an MP6 Entertainment Unlimited? I suppose you could, although unlimited is probably stretching the truth a bit. Very limited. The name that it seems to go by mostly on Tinterwebs is A4305. It's being sold by multiple different Chinese-based companies or companies that are sourcing their products from China. Apparently it's made by a company called SaneMax. I think you would perhaps be insane to the max to buy one, but we'll see. It is difficult to know what this thing is really all about because there are an awful lot of lies being told, mainly on the box. Multi-format video support. True. Multi-format game support. True. Stereo 3D loudspeakers. Lie. TF card slot supports 32 gig. Well, I don't know if that's true or not. It does have a memory card slot. I have put in a micro SDHC, one of these little jobbies here, and it works. 32-bit game support. Well, DVD video. Bullshit. There's no DVD anything on this. Compact disc digital video. Bullshit. There's no compact disc on this. Dolby digital. Yeah, right. Micro SD. Yes. I have no idea what that means. Yeah. Okay. Video player. Yes. Audio player. Yes. Game player. Yes. Digital camera. Yes. TV. AV out. There. Well, I suppose, yes, you can plug it into your telly. FM radio. Well, on a technical level, yes. On a practical level, bullshit. Voice recorder, yes. Ebook, yes. Alarm clock, probably. So what does it say on the side? Screen 4.3 inch 16 by 9. High definition widescreen. Yeah, I guess so. Video format HD. Video decoders supported. RMVB. I've no idea what that is. RM, don't know. AVI, yeah, that works. VOB, no idea that. What? MPEG, yes. FLV, I don't know. 3GP, maybe. I don't know. TV in, blah, 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 blah. DVD VCD. No, that's bullshit. It doesn't do them. TV. I mean, it kind of suggests that it can record from the TV. That's bollocks. It has no inputs whatsoever. HD TV out can convert player's screen into a TV. No, it cannot convert the player's screen into a TV. It can display. You can hook it up to your telly and display whatever's on the player on the telly. Game supports GBA, NES game formats. Yes, that's true, and also omitting an awful lot. We'll go into that later. Camera, 0.3 megapixel with digital video. Well, it does stills and video. High-end FM stereo radio with full channel frequency. There is an FM receiver. We'll get on to that later. Digital voice recording, yes. Oh, sound, Ultra 3D surround sound. How is that? It's only got one bloody speaker. Voice recording, I think I covered that. Audio formats, audio playback, MP3, WMA, whatever. Lyric view. Lyrics display, I have no idea about that. Background music play setting, don't know anything about that. Blah, blah. Ebook, 4 GB internal memory. No, lie. It's actually got about 2.7 gig. Now it could be that it originally started off with 4, but the operating system has taken up a big chunk. Maybe. Micro SD slot, yes, true. Built-in rechargeable lithium battery. I assume it's lithium. I don't know. It takes an age to charge up and doesn't last very long. Let's have a look what you get in the box apart from that. Here we go. Not an unboxing because obviously I've unboxed it all already. You get a nice fake suede pouch. I haven't actually checked to see if it fits inside it. That would be amusing if it didn't. that had the ear. That's empty. Yeah, there's your audio video lead, so it'll be like 1/4" jack to red, yellow and white doofers that you can plug into your telly. The quality of this looks actually slightly better than the quality from that red PXP thing. That was abysmal. I haven't tried plugging it into the telly yet, so I don't know how that will turn out. Yeah, you get a pair of earphones, earbuds, whatever. The length of it is laughable. It's about 2 feet long. So basically, if you got the earplugs in, this thing won't, you can't put it in your pocket. You've got to hold it up fairly near to your head because the lead isn't long enough. And you have to use these if you want to use the radio. We'll get onto that later. Yeah, we have, in terms of literature that comes with it, quick start guide. Basically tells you it must be fully charged before you do anything with it whatsoever, and charging can be up to 3 hours. I've found charging can be up to maybe 5 hours for, I'm not sure how many hours use, to be honest. Probably, maybe 4 hours, maybe 5, depends what you're doing. And then we have the user manual. This I find amusing. PSP MP5. This is no PSP. DVD-C, MP4, MP3, net, game. This does not go on the net. And what the hell is an MP5 anyway? It doesn't even exist as far as I'm aware. Before connecting, operating, or adjusting this product, please read these instructions completely. Please save this manual properly. That would mean in the bin. Read that if you like. Pause and read it. It's nonsense. High clarity TFT screen. This, yeah. Movie Play supports all full format video file. RMVB, I've never heard of that. 3GP, I've heard of that. MP4. No, it doesn't support MP4. They lie. Music formats it plays. Super TV out. DVD grade video out. Well, Games support NES format, net games, 32-bit bin format games, 64-bit games. It does not support 64-bit games. I plugged some N64 games in it. No. This is just basically, it's full of lies. Let's see. What is it trying to, what's it trying to instruct us to do? Okay, get in main menu interface. Main menu interface operation. Picture. Get in picture mode. In main menu select picture by direction key. Get in picture viewing modi by OK. Y. Mode exchange. Yeah, this is absolute nonsense. It's garbage. The words are English, but strung together in a manner that does not mean anything. So you can take that and store it properly in the bin. Okay then, let's get to the important bit. What the hell is this? What does it do? What's it like? Is it any good? Should you buy one? I picked this up on eBay for $29.99. More fool me, I should have searched a bit harder. I would have found one for about £21. So it's obviously in a PSP style. The build quality, the plastic, is a lot nicer than that PXP. It feels like, did I say PSP? PXP, you know that red thing. It feels more like a PSP in the quality of the plastic. It looks very much like a PSP. There is no UMD drive. There is also no cartridge slot. There is the SD card slot there. You've got a headphone socket there, AV out there, USB there. Camera. Analog nub. I don't believe this is analog. I believe this is another, it's a D-pad on a nub. It moves like a PSP thing, but it just does exactly the same as this. And it won't matter. You're not going to come across any games that need analog. You have got Plus and minus, these are volume controls. Start and select. These actually do things. We'll get to that later. You've got your face buttons, triangle, circle, cross, square. Sounds kind of familiar, doesn't it? Power light, charging light. Now here is the big problem, is this D-pad. Look at this. That is, excuse me if there are children watching, close your ears, I'm about to swear. This is fucking awful. They're individual buttons. I believe they're sitting on like a rubber sheet, a thin rubber sheet. Squashy, wobbly, unresponsive piece of shit. It works, you know, it functions, but when it comes to playing games, it is not fit for purpose. If you need any kind of precision at all, unless you've got big fat fingers and you like to hammer your D-pad, and some people do, it's absolutely rubbish. It is the worst D-pad I've used since one of those little Famiclone things I played a while ago. Terrible. Screen, on the other hand, brilliant. It is high definition, it's bright, it's clear, it's really good. It's possibly as good as a proper PSP screen. Shock horror. So, to turn it on, you turn on the power switch there. That would be all you would have to do, you would think. No. You then have to press and hold start. The blue light will come on. Keep holding there. And it says hello, because it's a polite piece of Chinese rubbish. And then we sit and wait. And wait a bit more. And then it does that. And you probably wish it hadn't bothered. And we are presented with this screen, which is quite impressive. And it's even telling the right time, because I set the time yesterday. This operating system, from what I can tell, is some kind of custom Android thing. I've looked at various websites describing it, and it says Android in places, but it is completely customized. You cannot modify it in any way that I have found. If it's possible to root this thing, I've no idea how. So you've got all your... These up here are game icons. And it turns out that they are Game Boy Advance and NES games. We'll look at the quality of the games in a little while. I'll get to the other stuff down the bottom. You've got your settings thing, which it allows you to change an amount. We won't bother to go and look at that right now because frankly it's boring. It allows you very limited control over it. It's not especially useful. Browser, that's a file browser. Lets you look in your games folder, your music folder, your pictures, blah blah blah, everything you can see there. Have you noticed something as well? This down the side, that watery effect. Actually, yes, let's go and look at the settings, because the icon... Are they ripping off the iPhone much here? Because that don't half look familiar to me. Most amusing. Tools. Yeah, I think it's the right tool who made this. Calculator, calendar. See, I've got the English thing going on there. It's too much using Chinese knockoff consoles. Your calendar, stopwatch, recorder, library. Library is what I imagine you would read your ebooks with, if you were daft enough to want to read ebooks on one of these. The recorder is a voice recorder. It works badly. You just don't. You wouldn't. You really wouldn't. You've got a microphone there. Big, high quality microphone. It works. You know, you wouldn't. Unless you desperately needed to record your voice for something that you knew you would forget otherwise, and this was the only thing you had on you. Otherwise, you just don't. FM radio. Okay. First of all, this here FM radio will not work without plugging in your headphones. If you select it without your headphones plugged in, it just says please plug in headphones. So we'll put them in, and I can't. Yeah, this was the best I could get. This is the channel that actually had a radio signal on it yesterday. Whoops, that's probably the best thing to do with this. Yeah, you can do a automatic scan to try and find channels, and it has different. Where are we? Where is it? It's like a region setting, whether it thinks it's in Europe, Asia, or the US. Yeah. Please connect earphones. No, sod off. It's rubbish. No, get off. So that's the radio. You just don't bother. You won't get. Well, I managed to get one radio signal yesterday of some talk radio channel. I don't know what they were talking about. It sounded like politics or local news or something boring. And it was appalling quality. And I can't even get that now. Camera. Yeah, okay. This will do video. It will record video or stills. Let's just have a look. It does work, but why would you? 640 by 480. There's the moose with a monkey next to a 3DS XL. Yeah, it's rubbish. You just wouldn't. You can use it as a webcam as well, which is probably viable for that. Right, cinema. Yeah, because this looks just like a cinema, doesn't it? Camera. Yeah, that's where you can view anything you've recorded with your camera, if you're crazy. MPG file format, that works. Frame rate, rubbish. My music, anyone thinking about copyright, that's my music. That is my cat in a pot. This is a video that I put onto my Benway's World channel quite a while ago. Frame rate is appalling, but it does work. As you can hear, the speaker actually isn't that bad. WMV file format. This is another Benway's World video from a few years ago that was the frame rate is dodgy.
January the 3rd, and it's been snowing again.
Yeah, very poor frame rate. The audio doesn't skip or anything, but the video, not good. Clarity is fine, it's just, it skips about. So, MP4, this is what I'm currently recording my videos in. This is one of my Benway's World diaries. It says it supports MP4. So, yeah, it don't want to know. Great. Photos. Now playing. It's confusing. Alright. These are some photos I took just the other day. It does work. Slowly. It takes an age to load each photo. Down. There we go. Down to get the next picture. Sit there for half an hour. Wait for it to load. I don't know what this thing stores on. Some kind of flash thing in there. But it's slow. And it stretches them. If they're not 16 by 9, it stretches them. And that's not what you want. But if the photo itself is 16 by 9, it looks quite good. I mean, that, not bad at all, really, is it? Look. Bit of glare there. Yeah, because the screen is good, if the aspect ratio of the photo matches the aspect ratio of the screen, it does a pretty decent job. But, you know, nothing your phone couldn't do. That's another one I'm very pleased with. Anyway. Music. It'll play MP3s and whatever else. You heard it playing a tune a minute ago on that video. So the quality is okay. I mean, it's not... Here is your speaker. That might be two speakers. But I mean, they're right next to each other. There is no other speaker. So any claims about stereo and surround sound, bullshit. Again, iPhone icons and everything, it amuses me. Right then, now the important bit, games. Game Center, it says. You go into that, you got classic, game and games on demand. Now, games on demand is what is stored in flash memory. You can delete games that are on there, you can add games that are on there. What those games are we'll go into shortly. That stuff you have access to, you can modify what's on it. Classic game. If you plug this into your computer as an external storage source, you can see everything in Games on Demand. You can't see anything in Classic Game, which makes me think it's stored as part of the operating system. You can't modify it, which is annoying because some of them don't actually work. And what they are Game Boy Advance and NES ROMs. Some of them are Japanese. I had trouble with F-Zero for the Game Boy Advance because it was all in Japanese and I couldn't read it, and I couldn't work out how to make the game start, which was quite annoying. But largely does a good enough job. It can handle Game Boy Advance and NES very well. I shall ponder the reasons for that in a little while. So that is Classic Game. Then you've got Games on Demand. Now when you get this, you have all of those things in Classic Game built into the OS. You also have a few other games that weren't organised. I've since organised this. You had a load of GBA games, you had some NES games, and then I noticed a couple of Game Boy games. No titles. I've tried to add some other Game Boy games to it and they just plain don't work. These would appear to be the only Game Boy games that will work on it. But you know, at this point I realised, okay, this is an Android front end that is just running emulators. So what else will it run? And I tried adding stuff. And in fact, the giveaway as well was that there was a SNES title in there. There was a Street Fighter 2. I can't remember which one it was. Maybe. No, I can't remember which one it was. But there was a Street Fighter title for the SNES, and I thought, hold on a minute. This thing's not just Game Boy Advance and NES, so I bunged a load of other SNES games on it. And they work. You have to make sure they're the right file format. They need to be SMC. But they work. Which got me thinking, what else will this thing do? Well, it'll do Game Boy Color and it'll do Mega Drive. The quality of the emulation on these is not as good. It is best at Game Boy Advance and NES. NES because it's low powered and easy to emulate. Game Boy Advance, I think it's good at that because I believe this is ARM based. I think it runs on an ARM chip and the Game Boy Advance ran on an ARM chip. So I think it's closer to that, doesn't have to work so hard to emulate it. SNES and Mega Drive, it has speed issues. SNES sometimes seems to run too fast, although it won't do Mario Kart. Mega Drive runs a bit slow. We will have a look. Let's just take a look at a game in each area and see how it works. Alright, okay then we'll do Konami Crazy Racers, why not? Restart, I've never played it, but we'll do restart because that's what it wants. Now, you what? Yeah, we'll just skip that. At the moment there, it's in a small screen. So, there you've got like mode 7 style thing. Controls, yeah, you see, that works. Let's just bang out of that for a moment, because you can do something interesting with this. You can go to Option, Display Mode, Full Screen. Bang out of that, go back to Resume. And it's actually quite good. The GBA is the only format on here where the full screen looks anything other than awful. NES, you know, it just stretches everything on the other formats and it's hideous. But here it is. It looks alright. Frame rate, it's probably not normal, full, decent frame rate, but it's playable. Because I'm not familiar with this game, I don't know what the frame rate would be on a proper GBA. Finally, I have Mario Kart Super Circuit on here, but it's in that classic game thing that's finding anything in that is ridiculous, because it's not in any particular order. Right, bang out of that. So that is the GBA. NES. Okay, we'll do that one. Now, whatever screen format you were in last is the one it stays in. So if you want to change it, and with the NES you really do, you have to go back, you have to go to this menu screen and there. Restart. Road Fighter. Yay! Good sound. Wrong button. There we go. And that's decent, you know. I mean, there would have to be something very, very wrong if it couldn't emulate a NES adequately. And if you like NES games, this is great, because you know, you've got enough storage on this thing. You can cram every NES game ever thought of, dreamt up, programmed, blah blah. They'll all fit on here. Unfortunate that I don't really give a crap about the NES, but there you go. So, SNES. Well, let's have a go at Street Fighter 2 The World Warrior, because this is the one I'm most used to. You can stretch it out. It doesn't necessarily look great, so I'm not going to bother. It's fast. It's I forget all of the controls, or I just can't, because of this stupid D-pad. You can't get the diagonals, so trying to, you know, I can't get his fireball. I could do that on any other, oh you bastard, I could do the fireball on any other system, but I can't do it on here, because it doesn't register a diagonal. At least not when I want it to, so I get hammered. So, while the emulation is okay, D-pad renders it appalling. But it won't play Super Mario, and it's turned itself off. Okay. Don't know if I pressed the wrong button or it just had a barning. Oh, you sound so happy to be back. Well, we're not so keen, thank you. No, that's not where I wanted to go. So, Game Boy. These are the only two that work, and they came on it. I don't even know what they are. Screen, normal. Some little crocodile thing. What? I mean, that's quite cool. I wish I could make more work. You know, stick some ROMs on it and do something useful. Other than this. I'd say put Tetris on it, but I don't actually like Tetris. But, yeah. So that works. There's another game there as well, but it just shows you can do Game Boy on it. Finding the right ROMs, I don't know. I don't know what file format it takes. So, whatever. Game Boy Color. Now that, yes, GBC files, these work, and quite well. But it displays the screen like 1:1 pixel ratio. If it was a pixel on the Game Boy Color, it's a pixel on here, which means you get a very small screen. Which, while it's functional, it's not ideal. And again, that D-pad really just ruins it. It is very difficult to put your ship where you want it. But it works. And then we get on to the Mega Drive. Hard driving. This is... Actually, I think we can go full screen with this and it might look alright. Yes, we can. There. Slow music. Don't know why. But the actual... This is... Okay. We'll go auto. Come on, start. There we go. Frame rate, quite decent given the game that it's playing. It seems to do this, polygons, quite adequately. The D-pad again is a problem, as it is on just about every game on this thing. But it works. It's going at about the same frame rate as you would expect a Mega Drive game, or a Mega Drive to play this game. You know, it seems quite authentic. Pleasing. Especially since I like that game. Right. So, Sonic the Hedgehog. Is this going to look a stretched mess for a start? Sounds okay. Still sounds okay. Sounds better than that PXP did with the what seemed like a knockoff Blaze chipset. Not... Well, alright, it's in demo, but we'll leave it in demo. It's got speed issues. It's got frame rate issues. The speed goes up and down. You can hear it in the music. It doesn't seem to have enough audio channels, and the frame rate is fairly rubbish, to be honest. It ruins it. It's probably just about playable, but it's not good. It's certainly not ideal. It's probably the reason why this thing just came with Game Boy Advance and NES games. It can do those really quite competently, where it struggles with everything else. And that's really... That sums this thing up, pretty much. No, that's not not what I wanted to do. It does a lot of things. It does some things they didn't say it could do. It doesn't do some things they said it could do. Just about everything it does, it is barely adequate. And sometimes it's just plain bad. It does audio recording badly. It does video playback badly. It plays games. GBA, almost acceptable. NES, fine. Game Boy, fine if you can make them run on it. Not many do. Game Boy Color, fine, but in a tiny little screen. Mega Drive, fairly rubbish. SNES, it's got issues, and all of which are completely ruined by this appalling D-pad. So, it's got a lot of... Okay, it's... backlight turned off because it was not being used. Yeah, it shows a lot of promise. If everything it's supposed to do worked properly and effectively, it would be impressive, but it doesn't. It's half-assed. Everything about it is half-assed. And even if you got one at 20 quid or 21 quid, and they're available for that, it is half-assed. I mean, it's more capable, it does more than that PXP. All that did was play a limited selection of, well, it was like 150 Mega Drive games with bad sound. But if you ignored the sound being a bit off, it played those Mega Drive games really well. This plays a number of different formats and has a number of different functions: photo display, video playback, radio, music, and it does them all bad. Actually, the music it does quite well, but everything else it does it badly. It's poor. It's do you get what I'm saying? It's flexible. It does so much more, but it does it all badly. And given the choice of this and the PXP, well, the PXP is at least satisfying in that you get to play the games that it's got and enjoy them and not think, oh, you know. Where this, it's an exercise in frustration of oh, they could have done this better. I think the problem is it's just underpowered. It's running an ARM chip that doesn't have the oomph. They've had to set the frame skip so high on some of the games just to make it playable. But then the frame skip makes it hideous and unplayable again. So, I don't know. 20 quid. If all you wanted to do was play Game Boy Advance and NES, which is all they advertise it as doing in terms of gaming, yeah, I suppose so. You can get away with it. But for 30 quid, well, you can get a second-hand PSP for that, and the PSP will do every single thing that this will do better. And yeah, that would be my recommendation. If you want a 30, granted for 30 quid you're going to get a second-hand PSP, where this you'll get one brand new. But so what? Brand new piece of mediocrity or a second-hand useful emulation machine, get a PSP. Don't get one of these. It's frustrating. I think that covers it. Yeah, so A4305 Game Player by some Chinese company you've never heard of. Don't bother unless you just want something to, I don't know. Yeah, it does that okay. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider clicking the thumbs up button. I upload videos daily, so go ahead and hit subscribe if you'd like to see more. To all those who've already subscribed, I'd just like to say a great big thank you.